AShinyObject.
Heyo, full disclosure, Titanic Creations sent me both of these Pulgazari figures. I was provided with the figures, not with an opinion to share. So shut up. With that being said, Pulgazari, Premium Lamborghini Dari. First off, we're going to be talking about the classic version. Whereas the original release of this guy, he was more of a solid gold, maybe not all black, and he had red eyes. Red eyes, black pulled Pulgazari. So right up front, this guy, he's a bit simple. He's got mostly just two colors going on about him. From nearly the tip of his stumpy little tail all up into his back, into his neck, we are going to see a lot of this almost light sea foamy silver. Yes, even in hand, this comes off very, very different, and I quite like it. From the claws, on both sides, to his pulga tickle bitties and tummy, kneecaps, toes, and everything going up on the head, this color is going to be very much prominent. Oh dear God, look at that wonk. Now that's the face of a guy who pulled his dick out at the Toronto Blue Jays game. All he's saying is that he paid for the tickets. None too bothered by this though, because everything else is pretty much on point. I mean, look at these teeth. Look at that tongue. Love the fact that the teeth look like teeth and not just some gooped on paint looking like fried eggs or anything like that. No, and the plumpness and obviousness of the tongue is quite nice. Now, the only other color we'll see beyond the tongue is going to be this mostly cooked beefish reddish brown going on over here by the eyes.
Prosciutto!
And it does break up just all black and silvery paint jobs. Gorgo definitely came out the womb with the better papers, but I do notice a detail going on here that I'm really liking. A lot of these horns and some of the spikes are actually going to be outfitted with a cool little detail, and I'm pretty sure you can see it right here, right now. That line work. I know there's like the obvious ones, but there's like this weird, almost foamy texturing going on about this. And based on how frequent it is across his body, I think this was intentional. I really do have to admire the paint job, especially towards the shoulders meeting biceps over here. I like that it has that little darker spray towards the bottom. And yeah, we're going to see that on the top of his horns as well. It really is a cool detail that I very much enjoy. I don't know why, I just do. From the tip of his head, to the back of his head, to his back, there is so much detailage going on here. We've got the furrier stuff. We've got the more skin-based stuff. I mean, look at the snarl of his lip over here. I love that. He's got a little bull nose. He's actually kind of cute. Yeah, give that shit a boop. And then we move into the lower torso, the tail, the legs with the armor plating and more skin-looking details. Something about Pulgazari just kind of fucks. It's a really cool looking design. And speaking of really cool, do you know that the 85 film Pulgazari is actually the second Pulgazari movie that was made in the Koreas? The 1962 film Pulgazari is actually considered one of, if not the first, Korean giant monster movie. Unfortunately, as of right now, it's considered lost media. But yeah, Pulgazari, it's the same tale that Pulgazari is based off of. It predates Yongari and space monster Magwai? Wang Magwi? I hope I'm saying that right. And I'm sure all of you know this by now, but Pulgazari is actually played by our very own Godzilla, Kenpachiro Setsuma. And we'll talk about this guy a bit more in a hot second, but little juvenile Pulgazari, he was played by Masao Fukazawa, Minya, Godzilla's son. Ayo, fuck Godzilla vs. Gamera. Let's get Godzilla vs. Pulgazari. So as far as paint and detailage goes, Pulgazari from Titanic Creations, this here classic version, is quite nice. I enjoy the painting. I enjoy the detailing. I like this very strayed from the path design that they took. And the overall presentation of this figure and his red counterpart that we're going to be taking a look at next, it just works for me, and I'm really excited to add them to my shelves. As stated prior, we are going to get a juvenile form of that of Pulgazari, and he looks a lot like Minya. Obviously, much more aura-based than that of Minya, but a lot of the paint and detail that is present on the bigger figure is here. He's even got the same wall-eyed stare. And like the baby Gorgo, he's not going to feature any articulation, he's just kind of along for the ride. On top of that, Pulgazari is going to come with some relaxed hands, which is what he is going to be outfitted with right out the box. Some fists, which is going to have have every bit of nail that is obvious to the eye painted and outfitted with amazing amounts of details. And the hands that I've had on the figure the entirety of the video. These more hands. And I quite like it. That's a pretty good accessory offering for a figure like this, but it gets better. It gets cooler. Because along with that figure, his hands, and his juvenile form, we are going to get 3 trains, which can be separated, a base, a small destructible building, which is detailed up like a dream, and I mean, look at that. That's premium destruction right there. It's a lot of damage. And it'll fit right into that aforementioned base. And then we get a giant fuck off building, which is bigger, heavier, has more options for destruction, as I will demonstrate right now. Look at that. My God, it looks like it burned right out of the TV screen. And, uh-oh. Yep, this one. Just like that. Look at that. I love that. That is so cool. And how about another? Yes. And it will fit into the other little divot on the base, keeping the buildings in place, giving you multiple amounts of building dressings and a train. So not only are you getting a hulking and rather heavy articulated Pulgazari figure, on top of destructible buildings and bases for those destructible buildings, you get the juvenile, you get the alternate hands. Jesus, this is a fucking value. And no, I'm not just saying that because this was provided to me. I'm talking seriously. As a collector, as somebody who enjoys accessories with his articulated figures. This is so much bang for your buck right here. And the best thing is, when it comes to the buildings, you can really use them with anything unless you're like a scale whore or something like that. I mean, obviously these buildings aren't going to be in scale with every figure you own, but it's going to look cool. It's going to jazz up your display or your background, or even for your thumbnails, which I plan on doing. I do. But all of this together, and it started at $100, I feel like I'd be getting my money's worth. This is a solid friggin' recommend, but as the thumbnail and title shows, we are not done just yet. No, because we have to talk about the bleached and Hawaiian Punch Red Scare Pulgazari figure, and this is without a doubt my favorite of the two. Wow. So on top of being translucent red, look at that. He shines right on through. He's more see-through than my ex-wife. Bro is going to be decked out in solid gold paint. And we are essentially going to get the same amount of detailing that was present on the classic version, just Hawaiian Punchian. Plus, he's got all gold eyes, and it actually looks like those pupils, or the irises at the very least, are actually part of the major sculpt, so that's even cooler. Look at the teeth individually painted on this version. Hell yeah. Those cool little details I was obsessed with are gonna be returning here. Everywhere they were on the other one, they're gonna be here, just in a completely different color. Same amount of paint in the same amount of places, can't complain, and I'm sorry. The painted forearms, the painted thighs and shins, matching with the toes, claws, and everything else, just makes this the more superior and Shinra Jira approved flashier figure of the two, because damn. And yes, he will come complete with the same destructible buildings, with the same destructible parts, with the same stand that can hold them in place. These are not the ones that were just on screen, because them MFs, they're over there. See? And there's Gorgoogish. On top of that, you will get the 3 trains that can be interconnected or not. You will get the same packaged in hands, the more relaxed ones, and a pair of more clawed-like hands and fists. Yeah, I decided to go 2 for 2 on this guy, and I do so apologize. I am not going to present how you take hands off of a figure if you don't know how. That's the problem for you. But this is the result of me trying to take off all of those hands. It hurt a lot. Oh yeah, and you get Juvenile Guy, which, just like the other one, is going to feature a lot of the same that the bigger figure has. This guy, just like his papa, or his older self, is going to be translucent. Fire. I love it. Another great bang for your buck type release right here. I'm having a hard time being upset about anything that Titanic Creations has done with this creative spin on Pulgasari. And, you know, for a monster that really doesn't get a lot of legal love, I imagine, I think it's quite cool that we're seeing 3 Pulgasari figures coming out at once, and hopefully more soon. And with that being said, friends and neighbors, size comparisons. Pulled pork Atari will be standing over 6 inches tall, nearly at 7, while his juvenile form is just nearly at 2 inches tall. Shokugan, limited movie again for some reason. Premium Limited King, HG, AShinyObject, Titanic Creations Gorgle, and Finger Puppets. So between the two Pulgazari figures, you're going to get all of this. But on top of getting a pretty slick looking figure and a lot of accessories, this guy is also quite the articulate little linguistic. I'll be using the Red Scare version for articulation since this guy got more screen time than him. Alright, tralalelo tralala, let's get started. Mouth can open and close like so. We are gonna get a ball joint at the head over here so he can look up about that far, down much further, cock that head to the side, to the other side, swivel it all the way around. We'll get a swivel at the shoulder bladicles. Arms can move out about that far. Swiveler at the elbow, as well as a bend in and a bend out. No broken arm syndrome. You can actually see the peg for the wrist sitting in the forearm. That's why I love translucent figures. Full swivel up and down at the wrist. We will also get a torso swivel over here, allowing us to look forward and down about that far, and back and up about that far. We will also be able to rock from side to side with relative ease. At the legs, you can kick forward about that far before I start getting nervous for that gold paint on his thighs, and you can kick back about that far so you can get him into that classic running pose. You will get a bend at the knee, a swivel at the knee, a bend up at the foot, and a bend down. Please be sure to be careful with that of the ankle. It is not a joint like Gorgo had. It is actually a peg joint, which can lead into a very nice pivot. Ah yes, I forgot about this tail nub. There's a nice little ball joint back here. Which basically leads into the point of which I am making, that this guy is quite articulated and quite fun to pose. You're not going to get the ball jointy and richness of that of an SHMonsterArtz figure, but you're going to get something that's rather familiar, I would say, in terms of that. Comparable to that of a Haya or a NECA figure, and that's perfectly fine. All things considered, these are practically made-to-order figures. They're not made by this gigantic corporation that's got money out the butt to be doing stuff like this. And as you can see, I didn't even do normal pose shots with these guys. I had to do them with all the buildings because they're just so part of the identity here. All of the fun exuded from the poses I did with them interacting with buildings, the trains, tossing them, picking them up, doing the whole 9 to 5. It's so fun. I guess I never drew the comparison that an articulated figure's fun ability, not a word, but I'm going to use it anyway, could be directly influenced by the accessories that comes with it, and that's one of the reasons why these two Pulgazari figures are going to be held rather high in regard from me personally. They move fantastically, and getting to move them alongside accessories that are not just hands, it's an absolute flex of the highest degree. I love these things. Titanic Creations, Mac, my guy, thank you so much for sending me both of these figures. I was always aware of that of Youngari and Pulgasari, but never to the point where I ever thought I would have figures of them, let alone articulated ones. And again, if anything you saw here made you think, sheesh, I need that, link in the top comment down below. Use Shinrob at checkout. You'll get $10 off. Titanic Creations, it's a DIY type business. They're making great figures. They're making a city builder set that I am getting. Aquavelva Marine Gorgo. That's going to be in the top comment down below too. I've been Shinrob Jira. Check out my social media. And hopefully next time we meet, I'll be talking about the Youngari set. Which, wow. See you then. Peace. Hey yo, fuck Godzilla vs. Gamera. Let's get Godzilla vs. Pulled Pork out of my fucking Ferrari.